celebrate the bringing out of the best microphone in the house, is to celebrate with your hands together to welcome Caroline Bergvall back to Penn, back to Philadelphia, back to the U.S. after a while away. So we're really excited about this. I'm Al Philreese, and this is a program of the Kelly Rice Writers House Fellows series. And I also want to thank Zach Cardner and his team in the back. Zach, just wave your hand, okay? In advance for the magical audio and also lighting technology. We're also saying hello to a vast global audience of people watching by YouTube. And I'm pointing that camera, but there's like 4 or 5 of them. So hello to you all. I believe that when Lily has done her special officiating things, she might be back there looking at chat, or somebody might be looking at chat. So if you're on YouTube and you want to chat, ask questions, say hello to Caroline, we will make sure that we zip up that file and send it to Caroline so she can see all of your greetings. And I'll have more to say about tomorrow's program where folks watching by YouTube can get more involved. I also want to thank Lily Applebaum, the aforementioned Lily Applebaum, who coordinates Writers House Fellows. Yay, Lily. Okay. I always say this, but it's true. Lily is the best, the greatest of all time. And this is Lily's 10th year coordinating Writers House Fellows. So you're the 29th fellow that she's, and the best fellow. The idea of Writers House Fellows is to bring to the Writers House eminent writers whom we admire and whose work really deserves and maybe even requires at least a month of attention, close reading. And so we do that as part of a seminar. Everybody else in the community who knows, for instance, that Caroline is coming, will deeply read, will be ready, so that the gathering of this group becomes not just folks saying, oh, you know, kind of her poet, performance, that sounds good, but, which is fine, by the way, but will be part of the conversation already when you walk in the room. So that's what Writers House Fellows is about. We had an amazing session this afternoon of almost 3 hours in duration with a big a big break that featured Bergvallian snack, food we found in the writing. It's a lot of seaweed and mackerel, and it was brown and dark green, but it was very good, very tasty. But 3 hours with Caroline has been just heavenly. So thank you for that. It was really remarkable. So tonight what will happen is that I'm going to give way to the aforementioned fabulous Lily Applebaum, who will give Caroline something and just say hi. And then you will go directly to our introducer. That sounds good? Okay, so our introducer is going to be Sophia Durose, who's right here. And then once that happens, Caroline will come up, and the reading performance will be about an hour in duration. We're very excited about it. Sort of the set has been set up, and it's going to be great. And then immediately after that, we are selling 3 volumes, 3 books in the back corner there. So if you want to hurry out and get one, you may already have one. Caroline will stand here or maybe sit there, depending on how she feels, and you can get it inscribed and say hello to her. So we have Alisoun Sings, 2019, and something happened in 2020 that made it possible for a lot of audiences not to really reckon with this book, because this pandemic has meant that she's been home in London and also in Oslo, and now this is kind of a coming out in the US of this book for us, so get yourself a copy. It's amazing, and this is Drift, and we're selling Drift, and you'll be hearing from Drift, and this is Meddle English. Caroline will be reading one piece from Meddle English. So we have those 3. Please do buy a copy. And finally, tomorrow in this room, the lights will be up, and we'll be at a table, Caroline and I, and we're going to have a 1-hour Q&A conversation interview. And at a certain point during that conversation, we will turn to you for your questions, and you who are watching by YouTube. So please come. We will serve brunch at 10 o'clock. And you really should come for brunch. Brunch is great. right? And Caroline will be around, and you can chat with her before the program, and then at 10:30 we'll sit down and we'll have a conversation we're really looking forward to. Masking is optional tonight, but I see many of you are using your mask. You're absolutely welcome to do so. But what's not optional is cell phones ringing loudly. That's not optional. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. Lily, it's all yours.
Okay, thanks for coming out tonight, everyone. Echoing what Al said about welcoming you to tomorrow morning's brunch program as well. If you don't already have an RSVP, you can just show up tomorrow because the food's already ordered, so it'll be enough for however many show up. But I'm up here to present you with a gift, Caroline. This is a letterpress printed broadside designed by Mary Tassilo at the Common Press. And we chose a phrase that we discussed a lot in our class, which is the opening of the Seafarer song in Drift. I won't read it, I guess, maybe you'll be reading from it, I'm not sure. But, and this is handset type, letterpress printed, and this is the first in the edition, and it's for you, but there are also copies for anyone else in attendance who wants to get their own broadside. They're on the red table where all the books are in the back, so and they're free, so I hope you'll take one. And thank you so much, Caroline, for making this long journey, your compass, guiding yourself here. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited that Sophia DeRose is giving Caroline's introduction. Sophia graduated from Penn, and she's working as a teaching assistant in our Writers House Fellows seminar. So let's bring lots of loud applause to bring her up here, Sophia DeRose.
Thank you, Lily. And thank you, everyone here tonight. I'm so happy to be here. I hope all of y'all are too. How many times have you wanted more? More words, ways, and time to be in love. More answers to the questions of inheritance, mother tongues, and biting silence that collide at the corner of becoming and difference. Caroline Bergvall gives us an expansive approach to entering these questions. Sluicing through cognates, rhymes, rhythms, and forgotten consonant appendages, Caroline acts as a sleuth, uncovering what many didn't even know we had lost as English speakers or English readers. We are all haunted by some sort of loss, be it our former understanding of self, a love of someone else, a missed opportunity to know an other. I could keep going, but this introduction is meant to praise all the ways in which Caroline has allowed us access to joy within the unpredictable reality of survival amidst the permanent state of loss. She begs us to appreciate life and language for its gaps, the bits that remain lost to the void of vital translation between expression and understanding, physically sounding them into existence and leaving them on the page. She makes me consider that translation is a love language, and that translating is about much more than twinning definitions. She stirs a queer gumbo of reoriented meaning-making, and I fill myself with possibility at her pressure. Much of the discussion that the Fellows class had in this very room trafficked in our shared misunderstanding of the many Old English words used in both Drift and Alisoun Sings, and it was our great delight to find communal fun in puzzling through shaky and flexible definitions instead of being constrained to singular tracts of understanding. The space of the books allow us the opportunity to shed our borders of imprisoning societal mechanisms and instead feel the pulse of Alisoun, of Caroline, of you, of me. We are each a false friend or false cognate, to borrow Caroline's usage, to the other in this class and everywhere, where our backgrounds, futures, and nows meld into unbalanced equivalents, but ultimately match in our shared existence of dialogue here, currently. In our trying, in our reaching, in our singing, the act of doing and connecting is what makes us the same in our humanly form, and the granularity of our variances dissipate into negative space, leaving us each stranded within the loss of significant alikeness. This is where we're truly free to express. Caroline's work, beyond its cleverness, intrigue, and surveillance of otherwise overlooked space, reaches beyond the borders of the page in many ways. As a sound poet, we listened to her tongue through the poems in expressive recitation, which we as a class participated in using our own voices, often voicing a page or two so the words could be heard as well as read. She makes us understand each other for the gaps between each other's positionalities, but generously, she makes the fear of those gaps dematerialize by pointing them out as opportunities to learn and appreciate difference in useful and imaginative ways. How many times have you been invited to do something like that in the throes of today? Undermining standards is ironically standard in experimental and radical poetry, but Caroline's work, at least I feel, is radical in its return to origin, in its appreciation for lineage which has shed the patriarch of canon without dismissing much of this language's birth, and in its supremely feminine autonomy. There is no doubt that her mission to speak through Chaucer's forgotten and unappreciated wife of Bath, the left-to-die migrant boat, and the seafarer is a generous act of loud humanness. But it is also a poetics of loss and lostness, skating through the unhinged vacuum of time. It is my ultimate honor to introduce Caroline Bergvall here tonight. Thank you again to everyone who's in the audience, but most importantly, thank you, Caroline, for being here and sharing your work with us. I really can't wait to hear what you have to share.
Wow, thank you so much, Sophia, for this very, very moving introduction. Thank you. Thank you, Al. And Kelly Writer's House, Lily, the beautiful print I've got here. It's a real privilege and pleasure for me to be here. Lots of friends that I haven't seen in ages, and also being here in person, like nearly unthinkable. And so thank you as well for the amazing welcome, and for all of you to come out tonight. There is some, for me it's a snowstorm, perhaps not for you, but it's definitely not right whenever it is. 29th of March. So I will be reading from this the trilogy that Al mentioned that came out with Nightboat. And I thought I would start by reading one piece from Meddle English. A very short piece, but it summarizes in many ways, perhaps to use a word that Sophia used in her introduction, this idea of negative space. So this is my version. When I started working around Chaucer, initially it was very tentative, and perhaps holding a lot of his language and his text, and then slowly taking more risks and playing more with the possibilities of what I could be doing with some of the tales, the narrative themselves, and then the language. So this is the funeral of the knight, Arcite, in The Knight's Tale, which is a really splendid affair in Chaucer's tale. And here you'll see the way I read it for perhaps our time. It's called the Knot-Tale Funeral. The great labor of appearance served the making of the pyre. But how, nor how also, how they shall not be told, shall not be told, nor how the gods, nor how the beasts and the birds, nor how the ground aghast, nor how the fire, first with straw, and then with drier, and then with greener, and then with gold, and then, now how a sight is laid like this, nor what, nor how, nor what she spake, nor what was her desire, nor what jewels went the fire, nor how some threw there, and some there, and cups full of wine and milk and blood, into the food, into the fire, nor how 3 times, and 3 times with, and 3 times how, and how that, nor how, nor how, nor how, nor who, I cannot tell, nor can I say, but shortly to the point, I turn and give my tale an end. I'm going to be reading a prepared sequence from the book Drift. You see, this way. Which takes me further back into Old English with the seafarer, and then forward into our time with one of the first, and now sadly, much more common headlines of drownings, murderous drownings, I could say, in the Mediterranean in 2012. So I'm going to be reading a set of pieces, and I won't stop. I'll just literally take you through what I've prepared from Drift. Let me speak my true journeys, own true songs. I can make my sorry tale right soggy truth. Sothgid, Sodgate, some serious reckon my ship sailing reckies tell. Who ick, how ache, racked from travel, g'day swindled, oft thrown about, bitterly tested, gebanging head, keeling at every beating waves, what cursed fool, grimly beshipped, couldn't get signs during many a night wacko, caught between what's gone or what's coming, on crossing too close to the cliffs. Blow in, blow, anon am I. Cold, gesprung, weary-worn were my feet, frostbound in the ice-blinding clamour of Kulla. City sank further, seafaring is sea fodder, heart humbling. Could scarcely move or draw my breath, cursed with nightmares, ge-whacked by sea chops, gave up all parts of me on ge-battered ship. Yet a hunger in on mind stole me to more weird comas. Let me freeze. Blow in, blow, anon am I. Stormed by winter, land fell away. This one doesn't know fact, no man knows that one has no weight. Sea folded and folded me, och, loved ones, och, landed fullness, och, field promises. Can't ache for him, nor him for ache, nor praises, nor raised love skirts, nor rings, nor harping, nor all-round loveliness. How ache miserable now, heaven knows. Last living soul behung with ice castles. Hail, haggle, hard, nothing else gehört, but sky, butting against sea, against sky, against sea, against sky, against sea, against sky, against sea, against sky. Blow in, blow, anon am I. Sailed on, due north, nord, north, nord, nordigt, norper, nor, north, give or take a few transmission errors, when steering by the sun, och the stars, och prevailing winds, och birds, och feeding grounds, due north, skirting shorelines, rock ledging from view to view, following tidal streams, visibility good, horizon divided, navigation possible. safe northing, for 3 days, for 15 days, for 7 days, for 30 days, for 40 days, before and hitting the banks, knolls of the North Sea holes. Here, nocturnal shoals, herring, silver trail, release away the northerner's sword, Avalon. Going north by needle and stone, from Ireland to Orkney to Shetland to Faroe, going north for stockfisk, from Lynn to Scotland to Bergen to the Lufid Isles, going north-like, casting lead off Greenland, thinking it be Thule, shoring up in Vinland, taking it for Greenland, island hopping to the island of sheep, to the Isle of Joy, to the land of women, to the soporific well, to the fiery mountain, circling round the crystal pillar, setting camp like on a hump, back down to the Isle of Madeira, thinking it be Faroe, laughing all the way to Charing Cross, thinking it be Bank. Going north, like getting to China westward way, crossing the Atlantic. Left the shore, turned sailor. The rays worked round to the north-northeast. The West Sea is the North Sea. East of Iceland, all men are Easterners. A shipmate known as William Browne. Gudrid Gudridur fared to Greenland on to Vinland. Mary Lacey, northing it as William Cavendish. Rachel Young, northing it as Billy Bridle. Elizabeth Bowden did her work well as a strong, active boy on this ship. Mary Bonney, Anne Reid, Paris Fantabulosa, here, here, all scarpa to sea. Going north like going south, land upraises in saucer-shaped world. The world is flat when maps are round, round when maps are flat. Phantom spectre vessels warp in out of time holes, abandon loose fittings, war floats, cargo, steamers, gask, oaths, love skips Lady Lovibond in the Goodwin Sands. The Baitshima ghost ship of the Arctic. Petriff off the Northwest Passage, Captain Fritton at his desk, still writing in his log. At the end of space, there is no restaurant. Where's north? From here, from her, from had. April 2012. An article in The Guardian outlines a report just published by Forensic Oceanography and developed by two researchers, Charles Heller and Lorenzo Pizzani. Migrant boat tragedy. UK crew may have seen doomed vessel. The manner in which 72 migrants had been left to perish on their way from Tripoli to Lampedusa, in full view of a number of patrolling vessels, had caused shock and widespread outrage the previous year and had become known as the Left to Die boat case. In keeping with the strongly interdisciplinary fieldwork methodologies as well as judicial underpinning of the new field of forensic architecture, the researchers have painstakingly pieced together the seemingly untraceable activities surrounding this tragic event. The report will now be used as part of an international court case set up by human rights lawyers. Sodgid, Rekan, Sithas, Segan, Sodsgate, true tale telling, Rekan, to tell, Rak, exile, Rekan, misery, Reka, stranger, exile, wretched, Rekli, skrekkelig, Rekan, awake, arouse, encourage, Vakian, weaken, lose, courage, fall. Executive summary. In order to generate our analysis and report, we employed a wide range of digital mapping and modeling technologies, which included the use of synthetic aperture radar imagery, geospatial mapping, and drift modeling. In collecting, analyzing, synthesizing data, reports, and human testimonies related to the case, this report reconstructs as accurately as possible what happened to this vessel. The forensic principle that every action or contact leaves a trace. Resonance is contact ripple, everything connected in the vast chamber of the world beyond the callous, brutal politics. Everything ripples at contact. The fair wind failed. The wind dropped. Winds were unfavorable straight away. The favorable wind dropped and they were beset by storms so that they made little progress. Then the wind dropped and they were beset by winds from the north and og. For many days they did not know where they were ailing. The fair wind failed and they wholly lost their reckoning. They did not know from what direction, driven here and there. The fog was so dense that they lost all sense of action, and also at sea there was fog and the winds were light enough favorable that rifted wide on the sea. Most of those are completely lost wreck. The crew had which direction they were steering a fog which didn't lift for days. The ship was driven off coast. They were so bad at sea for a long time. I felt we embarked and sailed, but the fog so covered us so that we could scarcely see the oop of the boat. Lost, all reckoning, lost in in the fog. Ha villa, ha villa, ha villa, ha villa, ha villa, ha villa, ha villa. Major Tom, ha villa, Levi, ha villa, Rimbaud, ha villa, Shelley, ha villa, Amelia Earhart, ha villa, Jeff Buckley, ha villa, Spalding Gray, ha villa, Virginia Woolf, ha villa, Albert Ayler, ha villa, Ronaldo Arenas, ha villa, Hart Crane, ha villa, Paul Celan, ha villa, Ingeborg Bachmann, ha villa. When you rise from the dead, when I rise from the dead, the hangman will hang at the gate. The hammer will sink into the sea, into the sea. Kom ut av kursen, havville, se ganget kommer havvillur, och dakens, och myrkur, och havvillur, och stokur, och havvillur, cannot pocket see through this stokur, var van on you, who had to stare out of this rook, deadlock it, blow foghorns, storm the ceiling, set my head on fire, light up this darkness, for a bearing through, piss, halla. Days now, clasping at my cracking skin. No man to steer the failing structure. I'm a hostage of the waves, floating in my coffin. I have lost all my papers, all I had with me. One man gone, that's all they'll say. One man gone, that's all they'll say. Blow in, blow, anon am I. To the northern, ne north. To the eastern, ne east. To the western, ne west, nor to the southern. No is gemeint my mind, no hjärta in my heart, nor the bane of my bones, nor the lime in my limbs, nor does a beacon guide my back, nor is she aboard ship, nor does ever anything, what's unknowingly known, or unknowingly unknown, a backward or frontward, be free up away, for certain. That's why, ik have that long one, must find the horizon hump. Ik have that longing, must follow the wave, blow in, blow, anon am I. That's why, dream bros sis, asleep in the sand. Of all that lives, ikke ståndad, and nothing stands but deeds, och songs, and songs of deeds, that dream deeds that awake the mind, last words and wrap the work of living with the ocean, washing over, blow in, blow, anon am I, blow in, blow. Everything passes into everything. Anon I pass to everything. Cute. change of focus and atmosphere. I'm going to be reading, again, similarly, just prepared a sequence from my wife of Bath. I've been in conversation with Alisoun, or she's been in conversation with me for quite a few years, and this book came out in 2019, and it's a pleasure to be reading live in person from this volume today. So let me just find my opening page. She's already introduced herself. That's already taken about 20 pages, and she now moves into the meat of her story for another 200 pages or 120 pages. I think she would have been satisfied now of this book-length treatment of her presence and existence. Let's see. Experience shows, continues Alisoun, everyone is spawned in 3D, yet pruned in 2D. Every single one of us are wooed, groomed for specific agendas in this flatland, and never be free of its games and curses. Folk be arranged one type a pair, an army for naught, a science of zeros and ones. Detach, apply the repetitive blocks of X's, Y's, and zebras, and member nay give a fig, takes for king that which bulges roundly, and for queens that which holds in place squarely. Strictest two-pronged situation, 'tis a structure for industry in it, a logic of global trading and worship. Indeed, he don't know any unborn O, but once become O, stays strictly so. Can never be fully self after that, nor develop in piece by piece. In fact, can only ever stand in for bits of oneself. Nor on any accounting will there ever be fertile love, nor lineage between an O and an O, nor can an O be an A, nor an XXY, nor an XXL. All what rules are designed be locked into two-lettered alphabet, and everybody's walking around gloved, armored, silenced in it. One can be lucky with duties of self and shared care, but love as a dream team of equals, frankly, rarely expected here. Yet, in the joy of life, we all be related, if differently, exclaims Alisoun. And showers suit to suffuse all of our veins, mineral, vegetal, animal, elves, fairies, cyborgs aliking. Hypercharged particles disperse unannounced cluster visions like dandelion snows and mathematical dances. As cellular haunting takes root, humoids follow all the way to the interior, where holodecks spawn futured matter from a fountain of space to grow from the starship. And love this starship by over 7 million species, to be exact, 390,900 types of plants known to science, and what's not counting, the fishes, nor the mammals, nor the insects, nor the reptiles. So what if everything is really nothing but a secret balancing of sentient matter, tangible, intangible both? In front of such arousing atomics, all transforms can break free, and poetic bios like me can again find their plentiful place, like you wouldn't know it, but there are around 90 types of begonias around. So now, how many legs and limbs really do make a sphere? Quote Alisoun, our knowledgeable guide through these leaves. Indeedy glorious is this forest of forms, yet now so ravaged and alien. How I want to know in truth which one to inhabit and pursue, which one be a real possibility, which one a dated morphokarmic entity. Survival depends on passing through all sorts of vital forms. Camouflaging to heal, masking to reveal, passing to shine through, camouflaging to seduce. How would one know ultimately what in me knows intimately, which one to manifest in fully open-throated song? every form be atomic, every shape plastic, despite scars of wounds, what redirect emotion around in knocks of trauma. Really, there are hundreds and thousands of possibilities. Each tree, each bird, each human, each cloud, each lion, an imprisoned Atalanta, each nightingale, a released Philomela, each cockroach, an anciently spectre, each firefly, a luminous Pasolini. What could be, might have been, might still be released into, like a frost exploding at the sight of the vastest ocean, or the world revelled in a 17-syllable plop. No doubt some of you will ridicule my holistic cosmological views on marriage, dynamic unions, Venus and Jupiter, love, passion and justice, the importance of transmigration, tree hogging and Annie sprinkling. I used to have a more urban, pragmatic view on this, what for certain, but I like to think I move with the times. As agendas change and the oceans rise and the cities sprawl, marriage needs be large, accountable, not reserved for the benefits of one, needs revise its views on ownership and burgery and domestic bliss, needs provide a better ensemble for the ensemble. Let folks of all genders, creed, colors and sexes, especially those what know best what it feels like to be owned and belittled by isolated servitude or preacher's rule, let them meet and matter in strengthened unions and create new transactions. Not settle on playing bride. Always remember you are who you be. Lead the charge of change, the deep, deep change. Despite much suffering past and come forsaken, I tell a youth we can need put all our efforts in the long battle for fair share. Good cheerer, reach for new emotions, strong nerve, all what needs calculating and dividing, all around a smile at the sharers, new homings, composite tribes of multi-generation and origination. Work it out. No time a wasting. Let's follow pleasure's instrument resonators, the frictions of justice, our beings engaged in the future's urgent McKinges of love. Searching my body, I objected it to various kinds of aerobics, wrapping my yoga around my neck, not ulikt goose or swan or crane scracked to crana. Certes my neck does stretched not ulikt the common hern or heron or powerful cormorant, low-flying ocean catcher. What strange flamingo is the sacred ibis, the ancient and the recent egrets? My throat just wrapped it to limit round itself, twisted tightly, bad air come at this side my knot, this side my nos. What smelly bestiary is unhinged, what stream of forgotten forgetting, what new bearer bonds about, move into muscle focus and stretch my resolve. This shackle been warping my fitness, the animals in me, thinking, growing, learning, pumping my bum cheeks to breast buns, mental concentrate much improved, soon can chillax my efforts, soften up with ointments, get waxed all over, meet and prepare for all those what will be precious, no doubt make me truly. Some me found it too sexy, and some are too saucy, and some are too spicy, and some are too chatty, and some are too dizzy, and some are too louder, and like a maiden touch for the very fiercest time, some me found it real hot. Get your freak on, liekes misdemeanor. Don't try to fight it. Put on that dress, I'm going out dancing, starting off red, clean and sparkling. Saturday night's all right if you put it on, if you put it on. I've been watching you, the way you move your sexy body. Ain't nobody makes me feel this way. Do I move you? Are you willing? Do I groove you? Is it thrilling? I don't want to move too fast, but can't resist your sexy ass. Won't you please let me lay you down? Take me down to your river. I want to get free with you. Baby, my heart's full of desire and love for you. Pull up to the bumper, baby, and drive it in between. This is the good stuff. Ooh, it's so good, it's so good. Love me. That's right. Wanting, needing, waiting. Ooh, suck it to me like you want to. Ooh, my hormones jumping like a disc. Ooh, love to love you, baby. Just can't get you out of my head. Can you feel this beat? It's an obsessive heartbeat. Fever in the morning, fever all through the night. Baby, let me be your fantasy. Baby, this constant craving. You're so soft, you make me hot. Honey, honey, don't conceal it. I'm so excited, I just can't hide it. Soothe me. I want some sugar in my bowl. The way you smell, can we go there? My milkshake brings the boys to the yard. Do your thing. A pretty girl in her underwear. If there's anything better in this world, who cares? Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out and round. You can slide, slippity, slide. How you say? I wonder you. Oh, my Lou, oh, Marie-Lou. So slide a bit closer to me, little girl. See, Daddy's on a mission to please. Be my girl boogie, child, bad man, baby girl, hot boys. Oh, cinnamon, super fly, super duper fly. Lover boy, lover tits, little star. Oh, my lover. I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I'm something you can't comprehend. I am a threshold yearning to sing, partly fish, partly porpoise, partly baby sperm whale, day and night, night and day. Why is it so? One hand allows the other. I'm in the sky when I'm on the floor. Desire's hunger is the fire I breathe. Love is a banquet on which we feed. Star power, star power, star power over me. Is coming for me through the trees. I love visions of you endlessly. I just want to scream to the sky. It's a wild celebration of feelings inside. Fall with me for a million days, my sweet waterfall. Into my arms, oh Lord, alas my love has come along. And the moon and the stars were the gifts you gave. It's simply beautiful. You can feel it in the air. All is full of love. Breathe to the rhythm. Dance to the rhythm. Work to the rhythm. Slave to the rhythm like the surge of a wave. And me, the naked island. I love you. I love you. Oh yes, I love you. Moi non plus. Me, neither. All summer long we dropped the love, like Ronnie eggs dropped out of our box. Egg in the evening, egg in the doorway, drop one on the kitchen table, one in the oven, egg on the bath mat, egg on the mutt, egg on the pedigree, egg down a shot like a yellow blink, crack a liquid one in the files, down the servers, twin the pages of the better books, egg on the bus seat, egg down the pipes, egg in the wallet, egg down the line, egg in the plugs, rich yolky egg juice on every card reader in the slots of every ATM, egg over every screen, egg over every street camera, egg in dust particles and air particles running down streams and rivers, egg in the linings and buttons of every uniform, egg in the lines of the holograms of bank cards, passports, ID cards, rail cars, you name it. Throughout summer, we dropped the love, love juice, life yolk running, sticking into every pigment imaginable. Now our tongues swelled into red roosters, genitals groining into large forests and rock arrangements, quim feathered trumpets and winged cocks into careful jigsaws. Limbs turn the translucent wings of raw shrimps. Tree-shaped daphnes, laurels escape, the bark stars explode. Heavy-breasted milk overflow the banks. Our drunken thighs blow into the thighs of powerful satyrs. Free the spirit of Atalanta. Skin taut for loud intoning. Fill the bassline with canoeing and uncanoeing sounds. Branches tune lowering love streams. Our hairs are glued with omelets and mud and sweat and glittering posticles and insect scales. Trees smelt of sex and yolk and purple blue. Pleasure collapsed the city. The countryside, the whole country. Its release possessed us all. Love rage, screams rose from every nook and cranny, reached any dark forgotten alley, any forbidden area, swamped all categories, hurried along the birth of babies, lambs, rabbitless, quickened the leavening of bread, stopped hiccuping short, drivers drove up the other way, tax officers sent back due sums, soldiers dropped their weapons for a long hallucinogenic breather in open landscapes, and all sordid professions were flogged dry and disbanded, sent to their Guantanamo, while gentle drying frienders, neighborgers, and fadderers did a final soaring. Some, I'm told, even left this rough plain, the shade of pale, smiling, calling out for more. You know, books used to be me forbidden, continues Alisoun, and writing them unthinkable. Books, or bokers, or bookers as we called them then, were used to keep chicks and other menial birds on the farm down. Like Jonah sheep, and they burn small fry, and others are stoned, while armies of clerics still cuss us with their holy book. So at Heidsieck Wall I used to be physically beaten with large voluminous leather bound to the bed, while manly folks would read and balk by the fire at the succubines who had filled their pages, and agree pardee. The sexual life of bitches sure is a dark continent for psychologia. This stuff's been filling their pages ever since. Indeedy, today's mother-hating scribes squeeze all sham out of the same greased-up pustules, just different spelt, and tweet anonymously to shut up Miss Scholarly Beard. No spare me death threats of torture, disemboweling, stoning, rape, or any similar sort of gentillesse. In fact, we'll happily give the booter to the Abbott MP, even shoot up the good Apple Joe Cox MP, to her untimely grave. Murder by design, keeping us all at home, and mostest of all, docile, obediente, and quieter. By God, if Femin had written stories like those clockers had within here oratorias, their Volder had written of men more a wickedness than of the mark of Adam, Mary Dresser. But what's the use of more books if they don't fight back? Give me Paddy Piss Factory Smith. Give me the Slim Lady, real Slim Lady Jordan. I'm unspeakable Acker. Just call me Castor, Mongrel, Zami, Outrider. Call on the butlers when you need one, the one carrying the clear parables, the one carrying the opaque entities. Not spare me the scum. How deep shall we dig, Arundhati? What scribely spectre digs up infrastructural hurts with eyes so used to darkness as ours? Call up the citizen and their waterfall. There is no half-measure lawyer. Stay with the trouble. Let them eat chaos. They say that. The women I love, they say, I've tried to tell of a world that doesn't exist to make it exist. They say they foster disorder in all its form. The female, the misfits, the misloved, the uglies, the oldies, the losers, the foundlings, the King Konged. They say that. I begin to speak. Words I had never heard myself utter before came pouring forth. They say that freedom is a constant struggle. They say the need to forget pain, but not its origin. They say that we call combat the sensation of acknowledging one's own emotions. They say that it's always too soon to go home. Create what nourishes trust. Un amour axe had to spell enough, then had to spell amour. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? They just open their pages wide, and Audre Lorde they give a good affront, who wrote silence will not protect you, who connect how to use books, making me sing in Jaguar harmonics, singer the fast-speaking one, making me sing when all language is migrant, making me sing, and they dress so fine, and they look so good, so stirring with their words, rousing millions of ones to turn on their life and make in a room of one's own. Turn the page and get up. Pull a scroll out of your interior. Turn the page and get on. Turn your page and get out. It's like I said, slim lady, from now on, I commit my body and my language. Well, I had a body, yet I was with the dead, quoth Hélène. On pouvait me faire mal à la lettre. I could be hurt down to the letter, wrote Sixu. You won't kill, you'll be killed. You won't write, you won't touch. Those are the laws of the foreigner. I had no roots, no legit language, yet I adored, and adoring came I too. To summarize and close in orderly fashion, I've prepped a number of pointers, says Alisoun, nearing the end her pretext. In short lines, hastens she, yet firm coloration. But first, let me remind you, I'm a local lassie, yet not rose nor trained articulate, yet a wise woman with appetites. I have lived and live on, but I can't structure a full convolution, yet fully intent to revolutionize our ways with the chances I take. So let me tell you how it is. Art and poesy do change the worlds, heal our hearts, complete our minds, charge our lives, ground our fights, in a minor scale for major impact. Dreaming practicalized with crafts and craft, word beyond word, fair bravery rhapsodizes in the nude, out on the street, across all devices. Let me put it this way. I say it once more. Let gender's bondage finally be done. Power coupling be outdanced, rebalanced. Marriages annulled till better used. Make alliance of equaled, not property dealings. Make family out of other queried modelings. And larger frameworks like rethinking the city for public spacings and speechings and centuries. For love is a friction of energy fields, of sexual textile against sexual textile, of mental tissue against mental tissue beings interweave as they meet. Transformation of the gender is a transformation of the worlder. Biosex makes all kinds of flowerings, but the rest is cohabitation and cooperatings. For truer human fertility is in the fruitfulness of dialogues, in the nectar of joint forces, in the permeability of the intimately, the network spirit of soul beings against the isolation of the fear machine, the vertigo of wars, the overprod of egonies, the indifferent prejudicial swindle of the racketeer, rejecter, the narrowness with which we are intended. Courage grows when grown from love's justice, pleasures hard to achieve beyond karma technique. 'Tis a life work to share and comprehend as a click. Or let me put it this way. What is somebody moved to the sign of a larger future? Collectivized without sacrifice, feminized without fear, all shades and gradations freely belit and animated. Tell yous, 'tis high time emergency, salvage all what can be. I tell you the time is come, nearly gone, for rightful guardianship. Read tough sharing out of our spherical garden, full of mind, full of mischief and hardened wisdom. Yes, it is a difficult, yet not impossible rethink. Our ways of living, loving, breathing, giving, earning, watering, ploughing, transform, make a concerted, desperate purpose of simpler, connected living, and get into bed with the earth, like a lovely and brave Mendieta. For in this, my friendly compania, we are all her kindren, alle in a melee, bearded on bearded liking, and alle we must sharing, the call out and the song, each of us updreamed as we be, from her round and sacred ground. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Caroline Bergvall. Thank you, Caroline. So we have books, and you can bring your books right to Caroline, and she will happily inscribe them for you, or you can just come and say hello to her. Tomorrow morning, we're back at 10 a.m. for a brunch and 10:30 for a 1-hour conversation. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I think the snow has stopped, but you can hang out here for a while if you want to wait till what? It gets warmer? I don't think so. Thanks again for coming out. One more time, she came all the way from London to hang out with us, Caroline Bergvall. Good night, everybody, and make sure you get one of these broadsides. They are free.